No one. Oh, surprising. All right. All right. So at this point, I will now go ahead and close the public communication. We could take roll call real quick. Thank you. Sorry about that. Usually, Councilman Cruz Baca gets me on that one.
I do.
You do?
About the roll call?
Yes.
Oh, yes, but I'm reading something right now. I wasn't even, I thought it was a certain flow we were going through, so.
Start here, Councilmember Cruz Baca.
Here.
Councilmember Monica Garcia. Here. Councilmember Ricardo Pacheco.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Susan Rubio.
Should be with us, right?
And Mayor Baldwin.
Yeah, present. All right. So at this point, we have for discussion regarding the medical cannabis. So who's here?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Actually, we weren't going to have a presentation today, but the council had asked me to bring back a couple documents for today. One being the cannabis ordinance that I've started to draft, and the second being the report, the Willoughby report that you wanted me to bring to this meeting. So I have both of those. In terms of the cannabis ordinance, I have copies of it. What I would suggest, this is a draft of what I put together based on, I can hand that out to you, and based on other cities and sort of these presentations that I've had to go to and these other kinds of PowerPoints that people have done and so forth. So this is what I put together. What I would suggest is that you have an opportunity to look at this, and then maybe a week from now or maybe 2 weeks from now, set a special meeting where we could sit down and go over, you know, all the other city ordinances, go over what's in here. You can tell me, I like this, I don't like that, what about this, what about that? And then, you know, so, or you could just give me direction, you know, hey, just go finish this thing, bring back something that looks final, and we'll look at it then. Either.
When the state puts their policy or their plan in motion,
Yes.
will any of this be null and void?
No, I'm drafting this ordinance to be compliant with the state law.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons why I kept talking about permits and the size of the permits. Because if we were to give, like, let's say a permit one for 50,000 square feet, that's not compliant with state law, 50,000 square feet, yeah. That's not compliant with state law, so while that would work for a couple months in 2017, in January 1, 2018, we would be out of compliance and we'd have to redo, the people would have to reapply and all that for a different kind of permit.
Is it maximum 20,000?
22,500 is the maximum, that's the A permit. Then the B permit is 10,000 square feet or less, then the C permit is 5,000 square feet or less. And there are some limits as it relates to the 22,500 square foot permit. There are no limits as to the other permits. So,
Wow.
Mayor,
well, we don't have to worry about the limits because we're not talking about the kind of permits that would get into the limit problem anyway.
All right.
Okay?
What did you call the three levels, the max and then the class C and D?
Yes, there's the state levels are 22,500. That's the top permit you can get through the state, the biggest one. Then 10,000, and that's 22,500 square feet or less. That permit allows you to do 20,000 square feet if you want, or 21,000 square feet if you want. Then the second one is 10,000 square feet or less.
But what do you call that class?
B.
B.
And then C is 5,000 square feet or less.
now why would you, why not just get one at 22,500 and then they can be 5,000 or whatever?
I agree with you that I don't see any reason to make the smaller permits. The only reason why I think those smaller permits are there is because there is a cap on the number of permits. And so if you max out the big ones, you can get smaller ones. But we're not talking about the kinds of numbers where we're gonna max out anything.
Okay, so
So that
10,000,
shouldn't come.
what was the class?
Class A, 22,500. Class B, 10,000 or less. Class C, 5,000 or less.
And that, I assume that's in those classes?
No, actually, this one is a little bit different. Those are state regulations. We don't really deal with the 10,000 or 5,000, so that's not.
Okay. I guess what I'd like to see immediately happen, like in the next, starting maybe 2 weeks, is that we do some community outreach to hear, public hearings on what the community feels about this. I would have one at Morgan Park, one at Hilda Solis Park, and maybe one at Barnes Park, because that kind of covers the 3 areas of the city. And maybe advertise for 2 weeks from today, and then maybe 2 weeks from today, on our off Wednesday, we start to have the first meeting, and the next week, the second meeting. So you schedule them like 1 week after another, but with 2 weeks of advertisement, that way the public knows that.
I would like to-
It's just public input. It's not that we're gonna really talk about it. Maybe we do a brief presentation,
Right?
just to give people an idea what it is we're, if there's no distribution, and what is it, when you do the?
No distribution, everything else other than
Cultivation.
distribution and
Distribution
sales.
means you're
Sales.
selling it for recreation, okay.
Right,
So we're
retail.
just doing,
We're doing cultivation, manufacturing, testing, transportation,
So
any
maybe
of
you
those kinds
focus
of
on what
things.
we, as a council, have decided to do, and then that's it. Then we just hear from the public for whatever long that takes.
Right.
Could we also, could I also suggest that we have meetings in the afternoon for people like our seniors that don't go out late at night?
I would just
But
have
I
them all be up there. I mean, I wouldn't do them.
Well, there's people that work though. See,
But
now
I-
you've got the working people that don't get home till about 6 o'clock.
I'm sorry, so you meant, you want one in the morning?
Yes,
No.
no, in the afternoon, like the early afternoon, let's say we hit the retirees or seniors or whatever, right?
So
In the
maybe we have
afternoon,
like-
and then evening meetings for the people that work, that
So can we
might.
have one, like at 2 in the afternoon?
Yeah, anytime like during the day, so it makes it convenient for
How
us,
about one
the
at
people
1
that
in the
don't go out late at
afternoon,
night.
followed by a second one at 7 p.m.?
But I also wanna
Okay.
suggest that we
Does
have
that
one.
work for you? We have 2 in the same day, one in the afternoon around 1, and the following one at about 7.
That's fine, that's okay,
Okay.
if we can swing that, that's sure.
And so there'll be,
I wanted to recommend, can we use the senior center and, like a time that the seniors are already there and have a captive audience for the
They're
seniors?
Yeah.
usually there for lunch, so
Lunch.
right after lunch, 1 o'clock, 12:30.
that would be a good one for the lunch.
But I also think that we're like forgetting the
North side.
north side. I think maybe we should reach out to the
Yes.
PAC Center to see if they already have
Yes.
the PAC Center, the
The PAC
facility there.
Tax center, yes, which
Because
is,
that whole area has been neglected, but I also like to suggest that we also invite our police officers to join, or we can have, I would like to see a separate one with our police officers and maybe our clergy, the churches, so it would be a more intimate, way of giving them information and getting the questions answered.
Mhm.
So we can set that separately from these outreach out, that would be ideal for me.
Okay. And a total of 3, is that what I'm hearing, a total of 3?
Yes,
Maybe
you would have,
plus-
3 plus, maybe 4?
3 plus the.
3 or 4.
Yeah, now that we suggested all
3
these
plus the
places,
senior.
maybe we could just see, like, plan it out where it focuses on all corners of the city, so
Okay.
based on all the
Well,
places we gave you.
but I mean, I want this to sort of be solidified now, so we're not continuing like we have been the last few months, it's just been kind of dragged out.
Okay,
So I would say Morgan Park, Field Police Park, Barnes Park, the PAC Center, and a separate one at City Hall for officers and clergy and anyone else at that point.
okay, then we have the senior center for Councilmember Garcia. So we got Morgan,
When I say Morgan Park, that
But Morgan
means
Park is the
it's
senior
just-
center.
okay, fair enough.
Okay, and then we would have one session on the same day at Morgan Park at 1 o'clock, or did you want it at 12 o'clock?
We better do it at 12 because their lunch is over at 12:30 and a lot of them leave, don't they, by about 12:31
So
to catch the bus?
At
12 p.m.
Yeah,
at
let
Morgan
me-
Center.
Let me talk to Manny and see what is the best time to time it, and it'll be
Okay.
somewhere around there,
Okay,
12:30.
12 o'clock or whatever,
Yeah.
close to that.
Okay.
7 in the evening, the same day.
At
And then the
Hilda.
same, Hilda Solis, one at 12 noon and one at 7 p.m.
Now, Ricardo, let me ask you, don't you think it would be better to have the 7 o'clock meeting at the same location where we had the 12 o'clock meeting? So that way, we're not like roaming around the city?
Let me just rephrase what I said. Morgan Park, on the same day, you would have one at 12,
Okay,
and you would have one at 7 p.m. on the
at
same
Morgan Park,
day.
Yes, which is the
Okay.
senior
Which
center.
is senior center.
okay, good.
Then, a week later, you have one at Hilda Solis Park. And that one would be at 12 noon and at 7 p.m. on the same day.
Okay,
And then you'd have one at Barnes Park the following week. And that's at 12 noon and 7 p.m.
okay,
And then you would have a fourth one at 12 noon and 7 p.m. Now, let me just show this one. At the PAC Center, because it is hard to get it, should we just have one at 7
Yeah.
p.m.?
Yeah,
In the evening.
Because
okay,
they're not that flexible.
all right.
So we just
So
have
one
at
at PAC Center, 7 p.m.
And then at the last week, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 5th week, we have one here at City Hall with the police department and clergy, church, non-clergy.
Okay.
Who else should be at that one? Pretty much just the clergy and the officers?
Well, maybe,
Pardon me, I'm sorry, you asked me, I'm sorry. What were you saying? I was
Officers and-
thinking about the locations and strategically, you know, how people maneuver from one place to another. Which other one did you say? What was your last one?
Oh, you wanted the church, clergy, and officers?
Yes,
leaders.
and the police officers.
at the church,
No,
No,
at
at
here,
City Hall.
at City Hall.
City Hall, okay.
Mhm.
That's,
Monica, was that,
Yeah, that sounds
did you
good.
want it added?
and you wanna
No, I think
do
that
that
sounds
one
good.
maybe late afternoon?
Yeah, that, because those are people.
You know what, Ricardo, why don't we
The
should
City
provide
Hall
one,
one should be in the evening, I think.
maybe we should
Like
provide
6?
one at De Anza, being that we're covering all this area, De Anza, we'll cover that whole area, no, or not?
But we have to be careful with the
Well,
schools.
the schools are
See,
difficult to.
This, yeah, because the school district hasn't agreed to do this yet.
Oh,
And by the time we go
Yeah.
over there and fight or whatever we're gonna be doing,
Yeah,
okay,
they won't let us.
all right.
No,
Right,
let's
they
just
won't
keep
let
it on
us.
city property.
Okay.
Okay,
So for this, though, we're talking cannabis for manufacturing, transportation, cultivation,
testing.
and testing.
And that's, of course, all up to you guys. I mean, that's what I'm putting in here, but you
Right.
can say, oh, you know what, we just want to do cultivation. Or you know what, we just want to do cultivation and manufacturing. Because in my opinion, based on what I've seen, most of the money is in cultivation and manufacturing, not testing or transportation. Okay?
All right.
Okay, and so we've got the schedule for the community meetings. In terms of the ordinance, do you want to have a special meeting to go over the ordinance, or how do you want to handle that?
Well, before we get into that, on the community meetings,
Uh-huh.
who would be answering questions like odor mitigation? You know, I'm sure some residents would be concerned about like the odors that might filter to the communities and just the circulation plan, things like that.
I'm gonna try and get these groups that have come out to
Okay.
us already,
Oh,
that will
okay.
talk about their business. You know, Lisa Ceylon was one of them, David Welsh is one of them, maybe Mr. Mindy that
To
came
see
from the last.
what's-
Those people that
Some-
come out and be part of these presentations, they can answer, you know, how they work their operations and what they
Uh-huh.
do and what problems they experience or whatever.
Okay.
Then the city part of it would be a little bit about, this is what we're looking at, this is how much revenue we think we might be able to get. These are, you know, this is how we're gonna do it. The city will present that kind of part of it. And then the salon firm, the Welshes of the world are gonna present the business part of it.
And
And
then
just to be- I'm sorry.
As far as, can we also have the, you know, somebody taking notes and writing down all the community concerns and, you know, so that we can factor those into our conversation.
Uh-huh.
We could also have like little cards where people ask questions, and that way
Sure.
we gather up the cards, we'll know what the questions were that were brought to our attention.
Yeah.
That's a good way to do it too.
I think so.
And just
And a
make sure
sign-in
for
sheet
me,
and so forth.
yeah, excuse me, just for me, make sure that we email like the police department and, in other words, we don't want to restrict them just to that meeting we're having with them. Just make sure that everyone's welcome to attend any meeting
Right.
they want to attend and no
Right.
one's, you know, restricted. Just make sure you get everyone's emails and make sure everyone gets the information at the same time.
And can we just have on the agenda, it's just cannabis is the only topic that can be discussed, and you have to have a card to write, and I guess it's we could put, I don't know, a 3-minute or a 5-minute limit, what do you guys, council members think?
A 3 for which, the people speaking or
Yeah,
the presenters?
The people speaking, you wanna give them 3 minutes?
3 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine, 3.
Yes, 3 minutes is fine.
Okay?
And they gotta stay on topic,
Yeah,
Yes.
nothing else other than that at these meetings.
Yes.
and then all council members will be seated in the front, I guess, or something?
How do you normally do it when you have those meetings?
However you wish, if you.
Up front? Yeah? Council members up
Yeah,
front?
might as well, just in case the residents ask questions.
Okay, yeah.
And do the presentation first and then have them ask the
We'll do
questions.
the
Or to
presentation.
write their questions on little cards and have whoever prospectively can answer, whether it's law enforcement or the people that are doing the licenses or are applying, whatever it is.
I think we should bring, yeah, I think we should do it that way.
And then after that, can you bring the first draft after the last, meeting?
After the last meeting, at the next city council meeting, you want the
Yeah,
first draft?
Yeah. I think we just-
Okay, so after the last community meeting, then the next council meeting, you want the first draft of the ordinance.
Have a first draft for the council, I guess input session.
I'll second that.
All right. So we'll schedule that and Shannon send it out to us going forward.
And then also let us know about the community outreach, because that's so important, to the success of these efforts.
Now, I wanted to start the community outreach. We had originally thought about June 12th. We had tried to target that date. But Amy Harvin's on vacation during that time, and we want her to be present during this time because, it's very important for planning to be involved. And so we'd like to move that to the first meeting to be June 19th. Okay? Is that okay with everyone? June 19th?
No, I don't think you should go on vacation.
You know what, to be honest with you, that's my birthday and I really don't want to talk about pot on my birthday.
Okay, so the 20th, Amy, better?
What?
No, she's kidding. She's
I
joking.
said, no,
Oh,
the 12th.
The weekend before is.
That's
Okay,
why I
okay.
said I'm not gonna be here.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
no,
yeah,
you're good
okay,
on the
so
19th.
June 19th is what we're
Yeah.
targeting right now, just so everybody knows, okay?
June
All right,
19th.
that's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you then provide within maybe by Monday, give us a calendar of all the dates that we worked on?
Yep.
I have one more item.
Thank you, Robert.
And also, that'll be in June, is that what you're
June
aiming for?
19th.
No,
June.
you're aiming the community meetings to be in June?
The
first one.
first one in
Okay,
June.
because
so they'll-
remember that school's out, so the parents will have a little more freedom. And then there's also people that will be on vacation. The school lets out, I think, the end, June 1st, are the graduations?
Yeah, first part of June, like the first week.
Okay. So you can advertise, last thing I was gonna say was, make sure we get minutes from that meeting. I would like it the Monday after, delivered to the council by the Monday after that.
Like a
If that
summary?
meeting was
Yeah.
Or summary or something, so we know what the points are. And we can keep them in mind.
So then, do you think that we should be recording the meeting, so it'll be easier with the minutes or
Yeah,
something?
we can.
I guess,
We will.
It's like a regular meeting.
Have Christie there with her
All right, Christie.
recorder.
Handy dandy recorder.
We'll
Oh,
have-
just another job.
We'll have you there on pot day. All righty. Okay, so at this point, we're gonna go ahead and move on.
Yes.
We have the discussion regarding, public employee appointment.